Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel, English with Jay. With me, your host, Jay Richardson, your private academic consultant. Today, we're going to be looking at CLT. What is it? How to use it? How to teach it? Why teach it? A lot of different reasons, okay? We're going to be doing two examples today, not one, two. Two different sets of activities and two different ways of approaching communicative language teaching, following different aspects of the theory. And before I carry on with that, please help me. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, hit that subscribe button. You get notifications. You get everything you need for all my latest content, okay? Please help support me, okay? So let's get on it. Well, today, what are we going to look at? What are we going to look at today? The first thing we're going to look at is, what is CLT? It's called Communicative Language Teaching, all right? Why? Why CLT? That's important too. Why do you need to learn a new technique? Yeah? What's wrong with the old ones? Let's have a look. And we're going to look at how. There's always the what, the why, and the how. How do you teach CLT? Yeah? What's the procedure? Why are we doing it? What are the important aspects of it? And as I said to you a minute ago, two examples, not one, two. So hold on till the end and you'll get both examples. The second example is actually more in depth, and it's a better example, really. It's going to get a lot more English out of your students, okay? We're going to look at a few different techniques around this. So let's begin with this man here, Mr. Albert Einstein, Professor Einstein, one of my heroes. Education is not the learning of facts. It's the training of the mind to think. I'll say it again because it's important. Education is not the learning of facts, but the training of the mind to think. It's about addressing issues that you've never addressed before, solving problems that you don't know the answer to, right? Life skills, logical thinking. Education is not about passing an exam, yeah? I think a lot of teachers get this wrong. Education is not about the book. The book is there to assist you. You're not there to facilitate the book. Just get that the right way around from day one, yeah? So that's really important to me as a teacher. What is CLT? What is it? Well, let's do a quick example, all right? The first thing we need to accept about languages or understand about languages is they are not linear. Conversations are not linear, right? They don't do this. You don't start in one point and talk about the end. Hi, how are you? I'm fine. How's the weather? It's sunny. What about the weather where you live? It's rainy. Okay, bye-bye, bye-bye. That's not a conversation. Conversations kind of roll in and out of subject. They go on and off subject, on and off task all the time. Let me give you an example. Say your friend was going to go to London Zoo or New York Zoo, or any zoo really. And you knew your friend was going to go to New York Zoo, and you saw them on the Monday, and you're like, hey, how was the zoo? How was London Zoo or New York, whatever? How was the zoo? And in your mind, you're a language learner. You're preparing your mind for zoo vocabulary, animal vocabulary, free time activities. You're setting your mind up for this linear conversation based on your question. How was the zoo? Your friend answers you, the zoo? Didn't even get there, mate. Traffic was a nightmare. What's wrong with London, eh? The traffic and the pollution is killing me. I don't know if I can live here. Oh, we're not talking about the zoo anymore. So all that prep in your head's no good anymore. You know, it's not a linear conversation, is it? Conversations slip in and out of topic regularly. And this is what you need to train your students for. This idea that they're not going to be given in real life a conversation that follows an exam that they're being given. Yeah, it doesn't work that way. So don't train your students to think that way. What you're going to end up with is a room full of kids that could probably pass exams, but can't hold a conversation down. So that's probably something that I know I've found regularly. Maybe you have too. So what's the answer? We've got to teach thinking skills, not facts. Why? I'll say that again. You must teach skills, thinking skills, but not facts. Facts have a half-life anyway. I mean, things change regularly, right? But let's think about this. For example, well, what do all these occupations have in mind, in common, by the way? Well, how are they all similar? Social media manager, driverless car engineer, Uber driver, YouTube driver, app developer, podcast producer, search engine optimization specialist. That's a lot of S's. Anybody? Every single one of these occupations did not exist 5 years ago. They're all about 5 or 6 years old, plus or minus. So that means the people that own these companies and work these jobs, they never ever studied for this job at school. Their teacher was unable to prepare them for the job they are doing now, because the job they're doing now did not exist when they were at school. That's the same for your kids. Even if you're teaching high school kids, higher grade kids, secondary grades 1 through to 6, think about it. Say you're teaching grade 1, grade 7 nowadays, grade 1 in upper school, secondary school. That student's got a further 6, 7 years of high school ahead of them, then 3, 4, or 5 years of university if they're only going for a bachelor's. Then they're going into the workforce in over a decade, maybe a decade and a half. What makes us feel we're prepared, or we are actually able to prepare these students for a career that doesn't exist? Who knows what they're going to be doing in 10, 15 years? They might be, this is not exaggeration, they might be outer orbit flight attendants. They might be, hologram engineers. We don't know. We don't know what's coming. The Earth's moving very fast at the moment, okay? So it's not relevant or important for us to be teaching them the facts for our world. We'll talk about this a bit more in a minute. Talking about that, there's this man here. This is Peter Senge. Peter Senge is an educationalist and a thinker and a professor at a university and a writer and everything else. And he asked the question, how has the world of the child changed in the last 150 years? Not the child, the world of the child. The world the child is inhabiting. How has that world changed in 150 years? And I would ask you to pause the video if you want and think of 5 things. Write them down. 5 things you think are the most important 5 changes in the world of the child. Go. Okay, time's up. I hope you paused the video. Gave yourself. Let's see. Any of these in your 5? Electricity. Yeah, there was no electricity, was there, a while back? Cars, motorbikes, aeroplanes. Did anyone think of this? I bet you're all thinking YouTube and Facebook, right? Think bigger. The world of the child. The world of the child, right? Globalization, television, mobile phones. Oh my word. And the biggest one, of course, is the internet. Don't forget, guys, you now have the internet in your hands, and so do all of your students. That means you do not need to be the most knowledgeable person in the room anymore. You do not need to know everything. You can ask the kids to find out for you. And you also can't mislead the kids. You can't lie. You can't make up answers. Any of the bad stuff people used to do in the past, right? Actually, this question is a fake question. It's a red herring, as we call it, because Mr. Senge answered his own question. It was rhetorical. How has the world of the child changed in the last 150 years? It's hard to imagine any way in which it hasn't changed. That is a very important concept. Everything in the world of the child has changed, from family relations to personal relations, to relationships, to getting married, to earning money, to the concept of our purpose on earth, philosophically, emotionally. Everything's changed, with the one exception. I wonder who can guess what that one exception is. The only part of a child's world that has not changed. The school. Think about it. Look at the picture. Picture 100 years ago, 150 years ago, Victorian schooling. Students sitting in rows at a desk, looking at one huge person in the room. You see that big angry teacher? That's how it looks now in most of the schools in the world. Not all of them, but quite a lot of them still look that way. I know a lot of the schools I walk into still look that way. There's one person at the front who's the biggest person in the room, and they're being quite aggressive, a bit almost angry and really strict and disciplinarian, and like 30, 40 people are sitting at the front watching this one person talk. Well, that's rubbish. That doesn't need to happen anymore. Look at the other picture. The teacher's the smallest person in the room. And the kids, We're working in small groups of 3, 4, 5, doing 21st century skills, researching, finding the answers. And the job of the teacher is to be the smallest person, to facilitate, to coordinate. You are their assistant in this scenario. We're going to talk more about that in a minute, okay? So, keeping in mind what we've just said, conversations are not linear. They weave in and out, right? That's the reason. Don't forget, if you look up the concept of communication, I don't have the OED in my head. I don't remember, I've got it up here somewhere. But what I mean is, if you look up the definition of communication, it's something along the lines of passing across information that was unknown before, right? If we all knew the answer before we asked the question, we wouldn't ask the question. Therefore, we wouldn't begin a conversation. Therefore, there would be no communication. Communication happens solely when there is an information gap. That's what that means. When I ask a question I don't know the answer to, there's no point in me asking my best friend who I know loves ice cream, do you like ice cream? Because I know the answer. Yeah? What if I ask somebody I don't know, do you like ice cream? And I'm waiting for, yes, I do, no, I do not. And they go, I'm allergic to ice cream. Right? We just talked about allergies. Oh, we've changed again, right? Keeping that in mind, let me recommend a very, very, very classic, basic, easy to use, easy to work, easy to edit concept called Find Someone Who Can. It's an information gap activity. Your activities need information gaps. That's part number 1 of our 2-part tip. Find someone who can. It's a grammar game. It's a grammar activity. Game's probably the wrong word. There's no winners. It's a grammar activity. We need to review the concept of verb and noun. Yeah? So there's a bunch of verbs here: ride, eat, drive, play, make, watch, and sing. I would ask my students with a certain amount of time. Today is not a lesson planning activity. Today is about communicative language teaching. If you want to learn how to do lesson planning, there's another video uploaded on that, and this would be the warm-up section of that. This is also not a classroom management lesson. There are other videos based on that. All right, this is just about CLT. I'm staying focused. So we've got these verbs. I would ask my students with 1 minute, 45 seconds on the clock with some music playing to think of a noun that matches each of those verbs. Go. Okay, that's the warm-up ready. We then elicit back off the kids. Ride what? Ride a bicycle, great. Ride a donkey, oh, great. Ride an elephant, great. Ride on a boat, right. What else could you ride? Let's get that going, great. Eat food, eat fruit. What else could you eat? Have a think about it. Eat a meal, excellent. Eat supper, eat dinner, eat breakfast, great. Drive what? You get the point. You elicit. You pull out the English from them. You don't push it in. We're not deducting them. We're not, sorry, I apologize. We're not inducting them with English. We're trying to pull it out of them and elicit. Okay? I would then ask them for another 1 minute, 20 seconds in pairs to match the verb to the noun. Music on, timer on, 3, 2, 1, go! And time's up. What were the answers, of course? And we don't need to do this together, right? I mean, this is not, I'm not teaching you English today. I'm showing you CLT. You get the idea. You're teachers. You can figure it out yourself. I would now extend my lesson plan a little bit to the presentation part. We've done a warm-up. We've done a presentation. Sorry, the present part, all right, of my PPP lesson plan, which you'll find on my other video. And this was done in Thailand. So there's number 2 is speak Isan. Isan is a dialect of the Northeast from Thailand, the Northeastern dialect of Thailand, okay? If anybody wants to speak it, I can speak a little bit of Isan, not so much. I would review the pronunciation. I would practice with them. Repeat after me. Ride a bicycle. Speak Isan. I would do that. Practice the vocab. I would then hand out the worksheet with instructions not to do any writing. All I want them to do is read the vocab, practice pronunciation, confirm they understand the meaning. At the end of that, I would, after giving them some time and music to talk with their friends, check out the content, ask if they have any questions, and confirm they know. Yeah? So play volleyball. Is it something you do with your feet or your hands? Your hands. Excellent. Swim 100 meters. Is that done at home or in a swimming pool? Okay, great. You understand. Perfect. Well done, guys. I'm checking understanding. Moving on. The grammar. This is called find someone who can, not someone who cannot. So the first thing we need to look at is the question, can you with a verb? Now, the reason I've got no ing there is where I live, a lot of people have incorrect English, and they'll say things like, can you speaking, can you swimming, can you walking, and they add the ing on by accident. That's from inappropriate, incorrect teaching, but that's fine. So can you run 100 meters? Can you swim 100 meters? Can you fly a kite? Yeah, really easy. Then I ask them, what's the answer if it's positive? It's not yes, it's yes, I can. Never allow one-word answers, right? Please keep that in mind. That's basics, guys. That's not about today's lesson, but remember, one of your class rules has to be no one-word answers. Yes, no, okay, bye. That's not going to work. What's the answer if it's negative? No, I cannot. No, I can't. They're the same. Cannot and can't. One's a contraction. I recommend with students who have lower levels or weak pronunciation, I prefer to teach them cannot for this activity because it's double syllabic, it's multisyllabic. Cannot. It's easier to hear than yes, I can, no, I can. If they're bad pronunciation, can't or can't, I'm not an American, I'm English, can't, it would come out can. For Asian students, that ending's harder. So I prefer the double multisyllabic answer. I'm now going to teach them, or what we call model the activity. Don't forget modeling, guys. Modeling is really important. Today is not an ESL teaching lesson. This is about communicative language style. This is not a teaching 101, right? This is a technique lesson. So check out my other videos if you want basic teaching strategies. Sorry, basic teaching skills. Okay, so question, can you blank, blank, blank? No, I cannot. If they say no, I cannot, don't write anything. Keep asking questions. So I'm going to pretend I'm modeling with you guys right now, and I've got my thing. And I say, hello, Mr. Richardson, can you speak Chinese? And I say, no, I cannot. I don't write anything down because the game is called find someone who can, not someone who cannot. But I can keep asking them questions. Oh, okay, can you swim 100 meters? Yes, I can. Can you ride a bicycle? Yes, I can. Then I need to write a full sentence. Jay can ride a bicycle. Then I gotta say goodbye. The answer is not a one-word answer. The answer is not yes, no. I do not write on the sheet, ride a bicycle? Yes. Or Jay. I need to write the full sentence, okay? So I'm gonna write Jay can ride a bicycle. Then I'm gonna say bye-bye and find somebody else to ask question 2, then question 3, then question 4. Because you cannot have the same name twice. You need a new name for every student, for every ability, okay? So it's going to say Jay can ride a bicycle, Ploy can speak Isan, and Fun can fly a kite. That means your students are going to have to speak to a minimum of 12 or 13 people just to answer those 12 or 13 statements. But they're probably going to get a bunch of no's too. So they're going to be asking 30, 40, 50 questions, all within about 10 minutes. That's more English than they would speak in an average week in an ESL school. So the idea is this. This is how the activity looks, okay? I'm speaking to my friend off screen, okay? Is that the right way? Yeah. So, hi Dave, can you speak Chinese? No, I can't. Okay, Dave, can you ride a bicycle? No, I can't. Oh, okay. Dave, can you speak Isan? Yes, I can. Oh, great. Okay, Dave can speak Isan. See you later, Dave. Bye. Oh, hi. Mary, can you ride a bicycle? Yes, I can. Oh, she can. Great. Okay, Mary can ride a bicycle. Bye, Mary. I've got to ride a bicycle. I'll fly a kite. Simon, can you fly a kite? No, I can't. Oh, okay. Can you make spaghetti? Yes, I can. Oh, okay, great. Simon can make spaghetti. Bye, Simon. You get it? Kids have just spoken. Condensed, intensive, concentrated English for like, that whole activity, by the way, would take, with adults, it takes a bit longer actually, but with a group of decent kids, I mean, that would take 15 minutes to do the activity. You'd have to teach first, but it's one lesson. Then you feed back who can do what. All right? That was it. Now, what techniques are you going to use in this lesson? You don't just release the students to run around screaming to each other, right? You need to have a bit more professional concepts, all right? So what are your techniques? Number one, what's my target? Not paperwork, that's for sure, okay? I don't care about my government indicators at this point. I'm not really interested at this point in my grades or exams. My focus here is getting my students talking, right? I'm not worried about their handwriting. I'm not worried about their spelling at this moment in this lesson. Other lessons I would, but my target is not paperwork, it's communication. Set unusual times. This comes from a guy called Rick Smith, Conscious Teaching. If you are watching Rick, hi, it's been a while. I still reference you regularly. Please check him out. I think he's a wonderful, wonderful teacher and a wonderful academic consultant. Set unusual times. So what Rick explained was, don't give them 5 minutes. 5 minutes has no meaning. You know, and you phone someone, I'll be there in 5 minutes. You mean half an hour, right? 25 minutes. Don't tell them 10 minutes. Tell them 9 minutes, 33 seconds. That's a good one. Like, huh? 9 minutes, 33 seconds. I better go. This is good. Hurry now. Let's go. I've got very little time. And I cast that onto my multimedia source in the room. So if I've got a TV or a projector or an interactive whiteboard, I would throw a timer up and let that timer count down. Okay, I'd play music in the background. Music has a lot of benefits in this scenario. Number one, it's cool, awesome. We'd love music. Number two, music creates the atmosphere you want. You're the person dictating the atmosphere in your school, right? In your classroom, you. So that's what the music will do. Number three, it will mask their embarrassment. Okay, one of the biggest challenges to Asian students, I don't know about other areas, but I live and work in Asia. One of the biggest challenges is like performance anxiety. Everyone can hear them and they freeze up. So what you do is you play music just loud enough so I can hear you talking to me and we can hold a conversation. But it's too loud for the people over there to hear what we're doing and we can't hear what they're doing. So it creates this kind of intimacy where we can have a meaningful conversation. I'm not feeling embarrassed or anxious about performance, okay? Be available for your students' questions. What I mean by this is interact. Get down there with them. Walk around, grab a sheet yourself and do the survey yourself. Be available. Be one of the people being questioned. Be part of it because it's going to give you the opportunity to listen and assess how effective this is being for them. Are they correct? If you're getting this a lot, you speak English that, yes, no? You speak English, you can speak English? Not, can you speak English? Then you will realize that a lot of them have misunderstood the grammar. So you do not make corrections here. You make a note, you come back, and you reteach later. Let me just reassert this a million times. Okay, I'm going to talk about this in my classroom management in every aspect I ever teach. This is really important to me. If your students don't understand, all of them, if you have a large amount of your kids don't understand, or if a large amount of your kids are off task, or if you're having issues with discipline for a large amount of the kids, or you're having issues with timings with a large amount of kids, I promise you it's your mistake. I promise you it's your mistake. I promise you that 20, 30, 40 students are not getting together every morning and agreeing to be naughty for you. You can't get them to agree on anything. You have just not implemented the correct procedures, the correct classroom management. If your kids are missing the grammar, then you have just not taught the grammar properly. It's really important to have a mirror and look at yourself. You are the first point of assessment. Are you being an effective teacher? Not are your students effective students? Okay, so let's just leave it there. I'm not going to go on about this too much today, but I want that to be very clear. That's my theory on this. It's always our issue, never theirs. Now, the activity here goes back to this image, right? You've got a bunch of students, they're all standing up, they've got a pen and a paper in their hand, there's some music on, they're all walking around interacting and communicating. The atmosphere is kind of loud in a healthy way. You've got good classroom management skills, it's not going crazy, but it's loud and healthy. And you are the facilitator. You're not leading the room, it's not teacher-centered, wah, wah, wah. It's student-centered. They're moving around, interacting with each other in their own way. And you are facilitating, and you're the smallest person in the room at that point, and you should be glad of it. Your job, though, is not to sit down at your desk and play on your phone at that point. It's to help them. Okay, you need to be on task, as do your students. Excellent. If this is too easy, please don't be a one-dimensional thinker. Don't think, well, Jay said I should find someone who can, and then my kids already know that, so I can't do it. Well, past participle, find someone who has been somewhere. How about doing surveys of who has pets, families? You could survey anything. Okay, at any level you want. If you've got enough, creative thoughts, you could change this to find someone who has been to Korea, find someone who's seen a tiger in the wild, find someone who has drunk something random, I don't know, black coffee, find someone who has touched the Eiffel Tower. I don't know, you figure it out. It's quite easy, and it can be applicable to any part of your units. Just figure out the content yourself. I'm teaching you the structure and the theory today. Okay, so there's an example. And what you'll also notice in this example, I've left 4 or 5 blank spaces at the bottom. For the more high achieving kids, the higher achieving students, I might ask them to write their own. If I'm doing a differentiated class, part of the class might get an easier one, part of the class might get the past participle complete, and the more advanced students might get this, and the superstars that are really overachieving might get a blank one. You've got to figure it out on their own. Okay, you can use it to differentiate. Please remember, guys, there's one more activity coming up. We're not finished. Like, subscribe, and share. Please hit the notifications buttons. Please tell your friends, okay? I am doing this content for free for you guys, so please help support me in this, all right? Now, another major characteristic. If you remember back, guys, number 1 was information gap. Number 2, making predictions. What will happen next? It's a great idea. What's going to happen next? For example, if I take this pen and you see someone doing this with a pen, what's going to happen next? Jay's going to stick a pen in his eye. Actually, no, I'm going to suck on the end of it. You don't know what's going to happen, do you? It's an information gap still. But I'm asking you now to predict what's going to happen. All right? And, excuse me, some great questions. What is happening? What will happen next? This is very grammar-based, by the way. What is happening is present continuous. What will happen next is future. All right? But we're not worrying about grammar right now. We're worrying about communication. You might want to give your students on the wall. You might have a nice wall freeze. You might have a nice visual rubric of things that have happened, things that are happening, things that will happen. You might give them some grammar chunks. I think that, I think he will, I think she will, maybe they will, next, they could, finally, in the end, after that, I think. You can add, subtract, there's loads, okay? So let's do it. We're going to remember here, eliciting. Remember to elicit. Elicit means pull information out of somebody, not push it in. You're eliciting, not inducting. Question, what do you think? Why do you think that? Why? What? Why? Ask them, don't tell them. I'm going to give you an example. Now, cartoons are a wonderful, wonderful tool for this. I love cartoons. You download a cartoon, you can blank out all of the speech and all of the narration, and get the kids to fill it back in with what they think's happening. And I'm going to show you how to elicit real quick. Okay, quick example of eliciting. Question 1, what's the title? Father and Son? No. No one-word answers. I need a sentence. Father and Son is one word in this sense. You've just repeated what you've seen. The title is Father and Son. Excellent, well done. Mary, you're a great student. The title is Father and Son. Who is this? Father, Dad? No. I think that is the father. Good, well done. And this, who's this? I think that's the son. How do you know it's the son? Because the cartoon's called Father and Son. Where's it going to happen? In a hospital? No. In a school? No. In a swimming pool? Where do you think? If it was called Doctor and Nurse or Student and Teacher, it's called Father and Son. Part of a family. Where do they live? At home. Okay, cool. What's happening? What will happen next? I'm not going to waste your time or my time just going through hours of all the answers, but let me give you an example. What's happening next? For example, the family are ready for breakfast, lunch, dinner, supper, who knows? But who's missing? What's the name of the title? Father and Son. Who's that? That's the mother. Who's that? That's the father. Where's the son? He's not there. Oh, the family are ready for dinner, but the son is missing. What's the mum thinking? What's the father thinking? Look at the dad. I'm hungry, give me some food. What's the mum? What do you think she's saying? You go get your son. You go find him. We don't know, do we? It's an information gap. The kids can fill it in. Right? That's their job. What's going to happen next? What do you think? I think the sun's going to come running in. Good answer. There are no wrong answers here, as long as the students are speaking good English, right? I think the mother will get the sun. Okay, I think the father's going to get the sun. Okay, well, who's pointing? And who do you think's the boss in this situation? Who looks like the boss? Well, there we go. The father is now finding the sun. What's happening? The father is looking for the sun. But what's the son doing? Is he brushing his teeth? We're eliciting, right? Is he drinking water? What's he doing? Yes, he's reading what is it? A book? A comic? A magazine? Is it homework? What do you think he's doing? Is it naughty? Has he found his dad's secret book? Who knows? Maybe he's found the new BMW catalog and he's looking for a new BMW. It's up to the kids, right? Don't tell them what the answer is. Ask them. What's going to happen next? Yeah. What's the father thinking? How does the son feel? The son's a bit like, do you think he feels happy or sad? There's a great teaching technique. Give them a choice. If you're not getting it immediately, if your kids are not doing this straight away, teacher, they're not immediately throwing ideas at you, or you've got them in small groups brainstorming the ideas. Fine, give them a choice. Is he feeling super happy or feeling super disappointed? Let's go, guys. All right? Moving forward, what's going to happen next? Ooh, now who's missing? Yeah, you got it? You keep eliciting. What's happening next? What's happening next? Oh, the father's reading the book. What a funny ending. How's the son? Pretty angry. All right? Got it. Now, the follow-up to this would be done over, like, for me, I would do this over 2 or 3 lessons. I'd spend one lesson eliciting loads out of them and getting them to do rough work on what the people in the pictures are saying. The second lesson, I might structure it more, give them some cartoons to, give them some vocab, give them some cartoons to look at, actually physically print it out for them. Yeah. And then I would ask them to write a script. This is a script from one of my primary 3 students. All right. She did a very basic script. I didn't do too much correcting, really, just a little bit at the very beginning. Then we created a final piece of work here. Okay. Now, you could then ask them in pairs or groups or teams to make a nice poster for the room. Yeah, you could be creative, right? You can talk about narration boxes. You can teach them what's happening. For example, it's Monday night and the family are eating. Excellent. What are they thinking? What you say and what you think are not the same, right? I've had a student once, I was teaching a bunch of teachers. And one of the teachers in box 1 was like, yes, darling, I promise I'll go and find our son. And it's thought, I hate you so much. I'm going to divorce you next week. I hate you so much. You're always telling me what to do. It was very amusing. It was very funny. Okay. Ooh, thought bubbles. And what are they saying? Use speech bubbles. All right. As a wrap up to this, if you've got really kind of active students and you're a very active teacher, I would then set up a Facebook or a YouTube, and I would ask them to make a skit for me, like a video, an actual play. Make it. It's your homework. It's your project in teams of 3 or 4. One person's the narrator, one's the mum, one's the dad, or something like this. You get them to record a video, send it to you, and you upload it to YouTube for them, or you upload it to the Facebook for them. And that's a way more active, engaging way of learning, right? We've done grammar, we've done communication, we've done a lot, okay? So it's kind of the end of this video. I hope you've enjoyed the 30 minutes. Please like, subscribe, share again. I'll have to tell you again. You can find me on YouTube, okay? English with Jay, your personal professional. You can also, at that site, find hundreds of videos, not just instructionals like this, but also actual activities of me and my team working with kids on one-on-ones, in small groups and in large groups, all right? Using all different types of techniques. I also have a Facebook page, or a Facebook site, Jay Richardson. I reply to all comments and all messages, especially on YouTube and Facebook. And I have a channel, a page, should I say. However, it's mainly in Thai, because we're in Thailand. That's EAC School, at EAC by Jay. I'm Jay Richardson, your personal professional. And I'm just going to say thank you ever so much, everybody, today, okay? I really enjoyed your time. And I hope to see you again soon. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.